Markus from Jeney giving us a talk on the way forward for the engineers and the green building. His presentation is
I have to correct you, I will not go the way forward. I am looking backwards in my own systems.
Yes.
I think I'd just like to give us a brief overview of the Engineering Council. It's just a snapshot, particularly also my development of green in the rural areas. So I've just included some slides on that because I think that it's not all about cities and development in cities. It is also about embracing the whole population, and particularly our development of buildings in the low-cost housing sector. I've just put in some slides that I found because I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but I think that some of these systems, and I say some of them, are quite interesting for looking at in our context and probably wider context in the world, to use building materials and resources wisely on a sustainable way. And because of that, I think my slides are only 20, which will just touch upon a few issues that I found might be important right now, but I cannot be an expert in the green buildings, and I will not, Mr. Mukherjee, tell you what the way forward is, because that is what we have to discuss, and that is what I think should come out of the meeting, convention. Yes, thank you. My name is Markus from Jeney. I am Namibian, not by descent. I immigrated in 1951, so I'm probably here longer than most of you. I am here at home, and I don't have another home than Namibia. So Namibia is at my heart, and I really think that working together on issues that we all have at heart are very important. The Engineering Council of Namibia is instrumental to the implementation of the Engineering Professions Act. Now, the Act has been promulgated already in 1986, but it was Namibianized after independence to be called Act 25 of 1991. The content broadly is still the same, but it has the mandate to register professionals in the engineering profession, to protect the public by setting engineering standards, to advise the minister on engineering matters, and to enhance the engineering profession, encourage research and development in engineering, and this today is part of that, attend to any incidental matters to engineering profession. The Engineering Council has been created through the Act, and it registered professional engineers, incorporated engineers and engineering technicians, and registration is done on the basis of education at different levels of the NQA, where engineering technicians are level 6, incorporated engineers are level 7, and professional engineers are level 8. And then they have to do a practical experiential training in each category as above. These education issues are based on levels which are related to NQA credits. Our credits are 560 for professional engineers, 480 for incorporated engineers, and 360 for engineering technicians. The practical experience on the professional engineer, if you go to civil, it's a wide-based. It should embrace then all the disciplines. whereas the incorporated engineers are specialized in one of the disciplines like water transport structures. If you look at civil engineering, engineering technicians are doing the same. There's a rigid process of registration. We are always the bad guys in the picture, but after people have registered, and we have registered 1,470 engineers and technicians, well, everybody is happy to be practicing under the so-called registration of the category they are falling. The council, engineering council, has a professional input to make regarding green technology by way of keeping the professional engineers, incorporated engineers, and the engineering technicians on par with requirements to build sustainable structures in line with the development of green technology and therefore the sustainable use of natural resources. To attain professional registration, it must be in line with the latest technology developments and the sustainable use of resources as determined by the Environment Council of Namibia. This is not lightly said. I think that all along the education has started to change towards a more sustainable way of engineering in the world. And therefore the Council is very important of looking at these standards, maintaining these standards, and also to look at the latest technology. As I've said, I am a fossil, I am a dinosaur in engineering, and most of us being of my age have to adapt. If you look at the development in technology over the last 50 years, there has been a total revolution of where we were then and where we are today. So now green building councils have been created, and they are nationally non-profitable, non-governmental organizations that are part of global network and are recognized by the World Green Building Council. Es freut mich sehr, dass Daniela auch hier ist heute. Und ich kann Sie sogar in Deutsch begrüßen, was Sie auch verstehen können. So the goal of the Council are to promote the transformation of the present built environment towards sustainable buildings and cities which are environmentally sensitive, economically viable, socially just and culturally significant. I think that the greening the built environment, the councils are established to promote green building practices, technologies and operations in the construction and built environment. This is where the Engineering Council is active, particularly on the training part, and our younger generation of engineers, they are very much educated towards a sustainable environment. Namibia has already established the Green Building Council. It was formed in 2012, and as it said, it's still a baby, so we're all learning in the process, and we are aware that the built environment has to be greened to attain energy efficiency, but more seriously to reduce energy-related carbon emissions. Why green your buildings? I've used one of the emblems that I see on the internet. I'm not sure whether the solar power will make the walls go greener, but it looks as if it enhances the idea of energy efficiency and also using greener materials to build our houses. So the built environment has a profound impact on our natural environment, economy, health and productivity. That is the way that we've been doing it. Now, in looking at the future, a greener environment will particularly contribute to reduce the carbon footprint and help sustain life on Earth. In that, I think we must include our rural population more. Yes. Green building mandate, the engineering profession has been mandated by the Act to provide for the establishment of a council for the engineering profession in Namibia, for the registration of professional engineers and engineers in training, corporate engineers and corporate engineers in training, engineering technicians and engineering technicians in training. That is the main mandate, but it also says, and to provide for incidental matters. That includes all issues around engineering, of which the environment is the most important one nowadays, as sustainable development is development in which resource use aims to meet present human needs while preserving the environment for generations to come. We don't know yet fully of what our impact, our footprint of the present world population. When I was a kid, we talked of 3 billion people. Now we are approaching 7 billion. That is, in 50 years, 60 years. What will be in another 100 years? So we need to think about that. The world is moving closer to an all-encompassing pursuit of sustainability, and the construction industry should not be left behind in that development. Engineering standards, as I've said, risk control receives high attention as human life are at stake, but what risks can be higher than the risk of non-sustainability? We might not be there to see what is happening, but our children and children's children will be there, and we have to work towards that to be a sustainable environment. To minimize risk, competent engineers who will know the requirements for sustainability are required. Engineering codes of practices are published to set the criteria for safety, which will have to include criteria for sustainability, in other words, green buildings. The Green Star tools, I'm not a professional on reading, so I cannot talk a lot about it, but it's to establish standards of measurement for green buildings. Those are the issues that will probably be discussed also. And it is to promote integrated whole building designs, to raise awareness of the benefits of green buildings, to recognize environmental leadership. Green buildings on average cost a mere 5% more. I took that from the internet, I hope it's correct, compared to conventionally designed buildings. In the long run, that cost is a very economic basis of building. It makes economic sense given the sustainable benefits to building owners, tenants, and the environment. Long last, it will be better buildings. Suppliers, contractors, architects, and other building professionals cannot afford to lag behind since sustainability is becoming mainstream in the world. The Green Building Council of Namibia offers us a way of achieving our greening goal faster. For more information on registering a project for certification, training programs, become a member of the Namibian Green Building Council. Now, the professionalism of the ECN attaches great pride in professional testing engineers and technicians to be registered and are exposed to international standards. We do have our institutions of higher learning being aligned to international standards. That is not an easy task. Our curricula are already being accepted as being the correct curricula for that purpose. The institutions of higher learning have both been requested to go on the path of accrediting international standards, which is controlled by the Washington Accord for Professional Engineers, the Sydney Accord for Incorporated Engineers, and the Dublin Accord for the engineering technicians. This is a high achievement because I know that in Southern Africa there are only 4 universities that have achieved this goal yet. So for us to achieve it would be a big milestone, and we will be happy if we can accredit to those standards. So all specific technical requirements attained during experiential training of engineers and technicians must include the latest technology regarding environmental sustainability. With that, I would quickly go to some examples, and they're all well known probably to all of you, and I don't want to waste a lot of time on it, but the greening process is an ongoing process that is supported by the ECN. And the examples, I can look at clay house. There was a project called the Clay House Project. The Clay House Project is using sun-dried clay bricks. Where I'm staying in my retirement village, there is one of the houses built with clay bricks. And people living there are saying it is a fantastic house to live in. Then the use of local materials such as thatch. People use it as shades for the outside swimming pool, what I call it, leisure areas. But even for houses, that is a sustainable material if it's used in the rural area, and it's very cool. Why are we using corrugated iron, which is hot and not very nice to live under? But nonetheless, this is just a plea of using it. Solar usage for all energy needs, that is a worldwide criteria. Less cement by using earth bricks. I will come to that. Thermal building design. Our breweries, for instance, is designed in a way that the thermal conditions are so good that they need the minimum of cooling in the building. So we can be proud of the speed it has taken off here in Namibia, and the ECN supports this development in full. Now, just to look at the hydroform earth bricks, it's just to show it's a system that doesn't even need a lot of cement. It needs about 10% cement in making the bricks, so it's a much lesser cost, and the machine can make those bricks in a way. And a friend of mine has built this double-story house on his farm with these type of bricks. You just stack them. If you're not sure whether it's stacked nicely enough, you can also add a cement slush in between to bind it and make it more airtight if you want to. The training can be done on that. The skills transfer is easy, and I think it can be done very, very easy in the rural areas. The community can be uplifted to provide quality housing with these blocks. Training is easy, and the members assist in the uplifting of the community by participating in the building processes of houses, schools, worship centers, and clinics. Jobs can be created from the blockyard, and construction allows for greater economic empowerment, support of all local industries of the area. So this is one of the blocks, and the lady is mine. You can't take her away, so I'm just showing you the block there. And I think that it just shows that in the communities it can be done very easy. I used this one example because I know of the systems, but Hydroform is not the only one doing this, and there's some technical detail which I don't want to go into. I think the system is a nice one. And if you look at the brick size, it also gives you a higher thermic protection from the environment once you've built a house with that. So these interlocking wall blocks are cured and not burnt. They are kept wet for some days, like the cement, to hydrate to its strength. And then you have a building block which is made of earth, and it's a very strong building and a very nice thermal building to stay in. The last one I think is just that the machines are mobile and stationary, and they have a certain technology. They can make 60,000 blocks per month. With that you can build 10 houses easily. So it's a fast process, and it will speed up the low-cost housing projects. Hydroform has a range of block bricks and paving machines, and the projects can be related to whatever machine you need. This is one of the machines, the mobile ones. And with that, I want to close off, and I thank you.
Thank you.